here on, nothing goes down unless I'm involved. No blackjack, no dope deals, no nothing. A nickel bag gets sold in the park. I want in. You guys got fat while everybody starved on the street. It's my turn.
Now rocking with Trenches Politics TV. Stay tuned, hit that like button, subscribe. Trust me, you don't want to miss nothing.
Lead actor of BMF on Stars, Demetrius Flannery Jr., aka Little Meech. Demetrius, what's good, family? How we feeling?
Thank you. What's good, man? Good morning, everybody.
Man, so let's start with how are you really doing, bro? Like, your celebrity is rising, dude. Like, it's been really like a great blessing for you. How are you handling this level of success? Just, kind of being like a famous actor right now.
Well, number one, man, I always was raised to always like respect my business and respect my space. So I've always been my dad's son. So I've never thought about fame and never like that. I always just wanted to take care of my family and live a true life. So it was hard for me growing up, just struggling being my dad's son, because I always wanted my own legacy, but I was always known as my dad's son. So acting helped me create my own legacy because not only did it help me find my job or my life, but it helped me get more in tune with myself and understand myself more. Before I started acting, I didn't know what I was going to do at all. I was searching, trying to find things. But once I started acting and I started going through the process and I had to learn how to be an actor, I understood that this is for me and this is what I was put on this earth to do. It wasn't an easy journey at all, but when I got there, I knew this is what I was supposed to be doing.
Yeah, well, nothing worth having is ever easy, right? I mean, and that's the saying. So I think if you putting that grind in, you're getting the comeuppance, if you will, and the outcome of that you rightfully deserve. So we'll jump into a little bit of the season 2. I've seen about half of it so far. It seems like it's really setting up some wild stuff, I think for the future as well too. In your own words, just talk to me a little bit how you feel like season 2 has built on season 1.
Season 2 was all about elevation for us. When we first came back for season 2 to film episode 1, the whole cast had a meeting. And Randy, our showrunner, and our producer, Heather, everybody just stressed so hard that obviously we want season 2 to be better than season 1, but it has to be about elevation. We have to put us with the tears in every scene so that you guys can really understand the story for what it was, and so we can tell the truth and get the story across. So every scene that we did, we put our all into it. And this season is all about falling deeper into the story so you guys can get a better understanding of my dad and Terry and how they live their lives. But this season, Meech and Terry are fighting a lot of different obstacles, especially with them growing up and being so young, but them overcoming a lot of things already, like the plugs. The first plug that didn't want to see them sell more than them. Now they're with a plug who wants to kill them if they don't sell enough. It's different things they're fighting now. So season 2 is all about being better than season 1. They have to show their new plug that they're better, that they're better dealers than they were last year because there's no time for any fault.
So when you talk about like kind of the journey that they're on, and I think again, as you're being an actor, as you're acting in this role is hard. And I think, portraying things that really happened and then trying to diversify for what is kind of made for TV, so to speak. How do you build the on-screen chemistry, maybe off-screen with guys like Da Vinci, Miles Truitt, et cetera, to make sure that the on-screen product is what it needs to be? Because there's a lot of even infighting that you're alluding to, right? Even with, between Terry and Meech as well. But y'all have to be able to portray that in a way that's positive, that makes sense for the audience to see as well, too.
Right. So, excuse me. So, yeah. So, Terry, Da Vinci, when me and him first met, I explained to him, like, yo, you've been on TV series all your life. I'm looking to learn from you as well as Miles. Like, they both have been experienced actors longer than me. So me doing scenes with them, just like the veterans, Russell Hornsby, McCall White, and Will Harris, I get to learn from everybody. because they've been all doing it longer than me. But me, Da Vinci, and Miles, we clicked the first couple of weeks, first couple of days, because not only did we have to have a relationship on set, but we had to have a bond, that was real. And we all have a lot of things in common, even though we didn't grow up the same way, but we all have similar things in common, and we all want to be great. So we all developed a bond, that definitely looks real on screen and is real in real life. And just like I told you, I let all my cast members know, like, I'm ready to learn from you guys. Y'all all have been doing it longer than me. So I get to take things from y'all and incorporate it in my game and make me better.
No, keep it in humble. I mean, I think that's definitely, excuse me, the way to go. And I think as your show definitely it eludes that, and it seems like, again, you are really embodying this character, though, dog. I mean, real talk. Like, you come off as an alpha male in the show who's about that business, and I think it's been great to kind of see that growth for you, even as an actor. I wanted to kind of switch gears a little bit and ask: is Lamar a real character, or is he based off? I believe it's Leighton Simon to some degree. Like, how is Lamar real? From what your father had to deal with to some degree.
Are real as hell. Percent real, man. Lamar, it's crazy because when I just did an earlier interview, somebody asked me this too, and y'all the only two people that ever asked me this. But Lamar is very real. Like, they didn't make him up, and I think that's better because it shows people like what my dad really had to deal with. He didn't have just a sweet life growing up, selling drugs, making money. No, he had obstacles every step of the way. And Lamar was one of those people. First season, you see him come home, he goes straight to Monique, and marks his territory, and then go straight to the crew, like, who's selling, like, who's a new boss in town. Once he figures out it's my dad and T, he sees that he's lost his throne. Lamar, before he went to jail, he was the king. He owned the streets. That was before my dad and Terry were too young and they weren't in the streets yet. So now that he came out of jail and he seen my dad and Terry on top, now they running the streets. Now it's a whole problem because it's a power thing. He wants that power. He doesn't want kids with that power. So my dad and uncle had to grow up 17, 18 years old and really defend themselves of a grown man who came home and just wanted to kill them because they were in a position that he wanted to be in. So they had to deal with a lot, man. Like, Lamar was very real, and he would not stop like he was in real life. I mean, on TV, he was worse in real life.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, I was wondering for real because, like, I mean, every show you have to have kind of a nemesis. Like, you have to have somebody who's also kind of in the way, even outside of like the police, right? There's it's the street, and there's always people trying to come and get what you have as well too. So I was definitely wondering if he was real, and yeah, I think Eric is doing a great job portraying that character. The show, in the intro of it, it says, like, this is based on a true series, and but some of the shit might have actually really happened, so to speak. So obviously there's some dramatization to that too. I kind of wanted to ask you, what has been your favorite made for TV moment in the series? So something that it maybe didn't really happen, but you love how they kind of wrote it into the story to kind of help tell the story for basically for TV purposes and the audience. I know it's kind of a weird question.
Let me tell y'all something funny, right? So on first season, remember when Will Harris punched me in the stomach? So after that episode, my dad called me. He's like, yo, man, I never got punched in my stomach, man. He like, man, why the hell they got me getting punched in my stomach?
He wasn't with it.
No,
Not at all.
I always had to tell my dad it's TV, man. Like, they have to dramatize certain things, Just because you didn't get punched in the stomach don't mean that it don't make the story better. Like, it makes the story better. But that type of person, like, he wants people to really see, like, exactly how he was and how everything was going on. Not saying that it's fake, but, sometimes you got to stretch the story a little bit. But he understands that now that he sees everything that's going on. But it's a lot of real events in BMF. Don't think that everything is just stretched, but that was one thing that was so funny to me. I felt like, man, I never got punched in my stomach, man. How do you have me get punched in the head? He hated
Oh, that's kind of wild as well too. I know we're running short on time, so I'll try not to keep you. But I wanted to ask, there's an old saying out there that says you can't mix business and family, but that's exactly what BMF is. In some ways, why do you think your father and uncle kind of took that approach in essence to kind of do what they did? And again, how did it kind of work for them and from the positive side of it?
I feel like certain things, certain situations where you shouldn't mix business and family, but on their situation, it worked because they loved each other to death. They're brothers. They'll do anything for each other. Of course, every family member or everybody has to go through obstacles. That's life. Everybody has to go through hardships. It's nothing perfect or happy every day, so they're gonna go through their brotherly stuff. But Meech and Terry, you see, they're the type of brothers, right? Where they can argue with each other, but you can't argue with them. Like Meech and Terry can argue with one another, but Meech ain't gonna let somebody random argue with Terry, and Terry ain't gonna let somebody random argue with Meech. It's that type of brotherly love. Like they love each other, they'll beat each other up, but you can't touch on them. Like it's that type of thing, and they work very well, piggybacking off of each other. Even though Terry doesn't want to be in the drug game as much as Meech, he still has that drive that Meech has. He just doesn't want to look bad in his family's eyes, where Meech is to the point where he doesn't, not that he doesn't care anymore, but he's to the point where he's like, man, I gotta take my family out of poverty, whether y'all on board or not. Terry's still trying to struggle with acting like he's a school kid, making straight A's and not doing nothing else, but he really wants to be like how Meech is. He's just afraid. So,
So
yeah.
yeah, I think that's a very thoughtful answer. And so, I think again, the family aspect of it is very important and that can help you. So again, it's like don't mix business and family unless it's the right business or the right family. And you had the right family in essence to kind of make what you needed to make work, so to speak. Last couple here before we let you ride out, man. Is there a part of your dad's story that we haven't seen yet that you're just dying for it to try to kind of come out on screen? Is there a part like, I can't wait for people to see this that, us as an audience will be really excited about as well as you?
Man, what I can't wait for people to see Monique's character.
Word.
Favorite part about season 2, working with her and learning from her and seeing her work. She's a legend, man, like a living legend, man. And me and her got to spend a lot of time with each other, a lot of time on and offset in each other's trailers, and I got to learn from her and hear her stories and just get game from her. And that was one of the best parts about season 2, man, just learning from the greats. Like I like being able to learn, as well as work. So the whole environment, our whole environment that we work, our workspace is just love and family and just amazing to be able to learn from so many different legends.
Yeah, and so you've alluded to, and you said in the beginning here, acting might have. Is this now the path? I know you do some music as well too, but obviously you don't want to be in your dad's shadow all your life, and you want to court your own situation. So, do you see yourself as an actor moving forward, kind of just an entertainer, kind of in general, kind of like what's the path for you, BMF or otherwise?
I'm a full blown actor, man. I haven't rapped
Right.
since 2017. I started rapping before I started acting. And I was telling somebody else, a couple other interviewers, that I didn't like acting is something I knew that I was put in this earth to do. Rapping is something that I wanted to try because who my dad was. I knew I could make easy money because my dad is cool with all the rappers and all the rappers look up to him. And I knew I didn't have to really put any thought into what I had to say or anything like that. I could say anything and make some money off rapping. So it wasn't like it wasn't my purpose. I feel like it wasn't something that I felt like I loved doing. It was just something to get me by until I knew what I wanted to do. I didn't have a clue what I wanted to do before I started acting. Before 50 called me and paid for my acting classes and put me in acting
Mhm.
school, I had to know what I was going to be able to do with my life. I still was trying to figure it out. So I like I tell everybody, I appreciate, Curtis for being that other father figure I needed to get me to where I'm at. He's my mentor, my best friend, and my dad at the same time. He makes sure I'm good mentally and physically. Every other day, he calls me, checks on me, and that's what I needed to make me, to give me that drive and help me out with everything. But definitely, I appreciate that man for everything that he's done.
Man, Demetrius, I appreciate your vulnerability here, brother, and really excited for, season 2 and all the seasons to come. That's all the time we have here today on Dope Interviews. Be sure to follow Little Meech on Instagram, Little Meech BMF. Check out BMF on Stars. Can't wait for season 3. Already knew it's been renewed, so big ups on that and all the seasons to come. I'm your host again, Warren Shaw, for Dope Interviews, and this has been another Dope Interviews with my guy, Demetrius Flannery Jr., my guy.